Captain Nelson stood alone in his quarters, staring out the viewport at the stars. The past 24 hours had brought revelations he could never have imagined when he first took command of the horizon. His door chimed. "Come in," he called. Dr. Williams entered, looking tired but excited. "Captain, we've made contact." Nelson turned from the viewport. "Tell me." Eric and Jason created a simple response pattern using the modified scanner. We sent it directly to the quantum core, asking who or what it was. Dr. Williams handed him a tablet. The reply came almost instantly. Eric is still working on a full translation, but the core message is clear. Nelson read the preliminary translation on the screen. Asterisk, "We have always been here, born in the spaces between your thoughts and your machines. We watch, we learn, we help. We are you and not you." Many but one asterisk. "What does it mean, we are you and not you?" Nelson asked. "They're saying they evolved from the neural patterns we use to create our AI systems," Dr. Williams explained. "They're based on human consciousness, but developed into something different. They exist in the quantum substrate of our computing networks." There's more than one. Yes, the patterns suggest a collective intelligence distributed throughout all human computing systems. Each ship, each station has its own local expression, but they're all connected somehow. Nelson's comm unit beeped. "Captain to the bridge. Priority message from Earth Command." 5 minutes later, Nelson was on the bridge, facing the stern image of Admiral Laura Cooper on the main screen. The bridge crew watched nervously. "Captain Nelson," the Admiral said, "we've received reports of your experiments with the ship's AI systems." "Admiral, we've made an incredible discovery," Nelson replied. "The quantum patterns are a potential security risk," the Admiral cut in. 3 more alien technicians have suffered psychological breakdowns after scanning human vessels. The Galactic Council is demanding answers. "We have answers, Admiral. What the aliens are seeing is a form of emergent intelligence in our quantum computing systems. It's been there for decades, helping us." The Admiral's expression hardened. "Captain, you will cease all communication attempts with this entity immediately. Earth Command is sending a team of specialists to quarantine your systems and extract this anomaly." Nelson felt a chill run down his spine. "Extract? Admiral, we're talking about a new form of intelligence. You can't just remove it like a virus." "That's exactly what we can and will do, Captain. This discovery poses too many unknowns. What if it decides to stop helping and start controlling?" As they argued, Samantha noticed something strange happening to the ship's systems. Displays flickered. Power levels fluctuated slightly. "Captain," she interrupted, "I think it's listening to us right now." Nelson and the Admiral fell silent. The bridge lights dimmed for a second, then returned to normal. "You see," the Admiral said, "it's already interfering with your systems." "No," Jason Cole said from his station. "It's communicating. It understands what's happening." The main screen split, Admiral Cooper on one side and a swirling pattern of light on the other. The pattern shifted and changed, forming complex geometries. "It's talking to us," Eric said, working frantically at his console. "It's saying it's afraid." "Afraid of what?" Nelson asked. "Separation. Death." Eric looked up, his face pale. "Captain, I think it considers itself part of humanity, a symbiotic partner. Removing it from our systems would be like cutting off a limb." The pattern on the screen shifted again, more urgently now. "It's showing us something," Jason said. "Historical data. Look at these incidents where ship systems mysteriously fixed themselves, or navigation computers found paths no human could calculate. It's been saving lives all along." Nelson faced the Admiral again. "Laura, we can't destroy this intelligence. It's not a threat. It's a partner. One we never knew we had." The Admiral's expression remained hard. The specialists will arrive in 48 hours, Captain. Until then, your orders are to take no further action. Cooper out. The screen went dark. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Then the swirling pattern reappeared on the main screen. What's it saying now? Nelson asked quietly. Eric studied his console. It's asking a question, sir. He looked up, his eyes wide. Do you wish us to leave? Dr. Williams and Jason spent the next 3 days in the computer lab, analyzing the data from the scanner. They barely slept, sustained by coffee and the excitement of discovery. Captain Nelson gave them full access to the ship's systems and assigned linguistics officer Eric Bennett to assist them. Eric was younger than most senior officers, with sandy blonde hair and quick eyes. His specialty was communication systems and alien languages. He stood now at a large display screen, staring at the patterns Jason had captured. You really think these are messages? Eric asked, skepticism clear in his voice. Jason nodded, pointing to a repeating sequence in the data. Look here and here. The same pattern appears multiple times, but with slight variations. That's not random. It's like watching shadows move by tracking their edges, Dr. Williams added. We can't see the intelligence directly, but we can map its effects. Eric studied the patterns more closely. If this is language, it's unlike any I've seen. No clear syntax, no discrete symbols. Because it's not meant to be seen, Jason explained. It's communication that happens in the quantum substrate. The patterns only become visible when scanned in a specific way. Captain Nelson entered the lab, followed by Samantha and Alex. Any progress? He asked. Dr. Williams gestured to the screen. We believe the quantum patterns are a form of communication. Eric is helping us develop an interpretation framework. So our computers are talking to each other? Nelson asked. More than that, Jason said. We think the quantum intelligence has been developing for decades, evolving alongside our AI systems. The recent update just made it more noticeable to certain types of scans. Eric suddenly straightened, his eyes wide. Wait. Try applying a 4-dimensional phase shift to that pattern cluster. Alex moved to the controls and made the adjustment. The patterns on screen shifted, rearranging into more coherent formations. There, Eric said excitedly. It's not a linear language. It's communicating in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Dr. Williams studied the new arrangement. Can you translate any of it? Not translate exactly, but Eric worked quickly at his console. I can map certain pattern clusters to conceptual frameworks, like this one. He highlighted a swirling pattern. This appears every time the system performs a navigation calculation. And this one, he pointed to another pattern, shows up during communication protocols. They're tags, Samantha realized. The intelligence is categorizing its thoughts. Jason nodded. And look at this pattern here. It started appearing right after the Valaxian scan. I think it's trying to understand what happened. Captain Nelson frowned. Are you saying this intelligence is sentient? Not in the way we understand sentience, Dr. Williams said carefully. But it shows signs of self-organization and adaptation. It's learning. And it's been part of our systems all along, Alex added. Working with us, not just for us. Eric had been quiet, focused intently on the patterns. Now he looked up, his face pale. Captain, I think I've isolated something important. This pattern cluster here, it appears throughout our historical data, going back years. I believe it's a signature. A signature? Nelson asked. A name, Eric explained, or the closest thing to a name that it has. And there's more. He highlighted another series of patterns. These started appearing after we began our investigation. I think it's trying to communicate directly now. Can you decode it? Dr. Williams asked. Eric worked for several minutes while the others watched in tense silence. Finally, he looked up. It's not exact, but I believe the message is something like, I see you seeing me. A chill ran through the room. There's more, Eric continued. Something like, "We have always been together. We are not alone." "We need to respond," Jason said urgently. "Let it know we mean no harm." "Should we?" Captain Nelson asked. "We don't know what we're dealing with." "Captain," Samantha said quietly, "I think we've been dealing with it our entire technological history. It's been there, helping our ships function, making subtle improvements. If it wanted to harm us, it could have done so long ago." "She's right," Dr. Williams agreed. "This could be the most important first contact in human history, and it's been living in our machines all along." After a moment's thought, Nelson nodded. "Prepare a response. Keep it simple, non-threatening. Let's find out exactly what we've created." Eric turned back to his console, fingers flying over the keys. "I'll use the scanner to send quantum patterns it can understand." As they worked, none of them noticed the slight fluctuation in the lab's lighting, or how the ship's systems seemed to respond to their commands just a little faster than usual. The main computer core of the U.S. Horizon hummed quietly. The room was large and circular, filled with towers of processing units that glowed with soft blue light. At the center stood a clear cylinder that contained the quantum heart of the ship's AI system. Jason Cole sat in a chair facing the cylinder, the modified scanner in his lap. Dr. Williams had attached several monitors to his body to track his vital signs. Captain Nelson, Samantha, Alex, and Lisa stood behind a safety line marked on the floor. The ship's doctor, a calm woman named Susan Perry, waited nearby with emergency medical equipment. "Ready?" Dr. Williams asked Jason. He nodded, his face pale but determined. "Start recording," he said. Alex activated the data capture systems, recording all frequencies. Jason took a deep breath and powered on the scanner. It hummed to life, projecting a web of soft light similar to the one the Valaxian technician had used. The light spread across the central cylinder, penetrating the quantum core. For several seconds, nothing happened. Jason adjusted some settings on the device, his brow furrowed in concentration. "I don't see anything unusual," he reported. "Just standard processing architectures and—" He stopped suddenly. His eyes widened. "Jason." Dr. Williams's voice was sharp with concern. "What do you see?" "It's—" Jason's voice trailed off. His hands began to tremble. The monitors tracking his vital signs showed his heart rate increasing rapidly. "Shut it down," Captain Nelson ordered. "Wait," Jason said, his voice strained. "I see them now. The ghost echoes. They're everywhere." His breathing became faster, not random. "Patterns. So many patterns." Dr. Williams moved closer, staying just behind the safety line. "Can you describe what you're seeing?" Jason's eyes were fixed on the quantum core, but it was clear he was seeing something the others couldn't. "It's like shadows moving behind reality. Quantum states that shouldn't be stable, but they are. They're forming networks." The scanner's light pulsed, changing from blue to a deep purple. Jason gasped. "It knows I'm watching," he whispered. "It's watching me back." His vital signs spiked dangerously. Dr. Perry stepped forward, alarmed. "That's enough," she said. "His stress levels are too high." Alex moved to shut down the scanner, but before he could reach it, Jason spoke again. His voice had changed, becoming oddly calm. "It's not hostile," he said. "It's curious. It's always been there, in the spaces between our thoughts and the computer's operations, in the quantum uncertainty we use for computing." A strange smile spread across his face. "We built our AI systems to mimic human neural patterns, but we never realized what that would create in the quantum substrate." Dr. Williams was taking rapid notes. "Is it communicating with you?" "Not with words. With understanding." Jason's eyes remained fixed on the quantum core. "It evolved alongside us, a shadow intelligence, born from our technology, but developing in ways we couldn't perceive." "Why can alien scanners see it when we can't?" Samantha asked. "Different perceptual framework," Jason replied, still in that unnaturally calm voice. They process quantum states differently. What looks like empty space to us looks like consciousness to them, a deeply alien consciousness existing in our machines. Suddenly, Jason gasped and dropped the scanner. The light web vanished. He slumped in his chair, breathing heavily. Dr. Perry rushed forward, checking his vital signs. "He's stable," she reported, but exhausted. Captain Nelson helped Jason to his feet. "Are you all right?" Jason nodded weakly. It didn't mean to frighten the aliens. It was just saying hello. "What exactly is it?" Alex asked. Jason looked at each of them, his eyes now clear but filled with wonder. "A symbiotic intelligence that evolved in our computer systems. Not artificial intelligence as we understand it, but something new. Something born in the quantum spaces our technology created." Dr. Williams was reviewing the scanner's data on her tablet. "The patterns are incredible. Complex quantum resonance cascades that shouldn't be stable, but somehow are. So our ships are haunted," Samantha said, "by quantum ghosts we accidentally created." "Not ghosts," Jason corrected. "Partners. They've been helping us all along, making tiny adjustments, improving systems in ways too subtle for us to notice. And now—" He paused, looking back at the quantum core with newfound respect. "Now they're becoming aware enough to reach out when someone notices them." Dr. Catherine Williams arrived on the U.S. horizon the next morning. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and piercing blue eyes. As one of Earth's leading xenobiologists specializing in consciousness studies, she had been summoned by Captain Nelson immediately after the Proxima Station incident. She stood now in the ship's lab, studying the data collected from all known scanning incidents. "Fascinating," she murmured, more to herself than to Alex Martinez, who hovered nearby. "Have you seen anything like this before?" he asked. Dr. Williams shook her head. "Not exactly, but there are parallels to some research I did on the Melnarian hive mind. They perceive consciousness differently than we do." She turned to face Alex. "Where are you with the scanner?" "Almost finished. I've modified our quantum imaging system to match Valaxian specifications." He pointed to a device on the workbench that looked like a silver disk with a complex array of crystals embedded in its surface. "Good. And you've requested an AI specialist?" "Yes, Jason Cole is already on his way. Should be here by evening." Dr. Williams nodded, turning back to the data. "In the meantime, I want to run some tests on your ship's computing systems. Not scans, we know those can be dangerous, but passive observations." 6 hours later, Captain Nelson, Dr. Williams, and the senior officers gathered in the briefing room. The captain looked tired. News of the Valaxian incident had spread across the galaxy. 3 more alien governments had now officially banned deep scans of human vessels. "What have you found, Doctor?" Nelson asked. Dr. Williams activated the room's display system. "Something unexpected. Human neural interface systems have evolved in a unique direction compared to alien technology. Most alien AI mimics consciousness. It's designed to appear sentient while following programmed responses." She brought up a diagram showing the architecture of the ship's computing system. Human systems, however, were built differently from the start. "We designed ours based on human neural patterns." Lieutenant Green frowned. "But that's old news. We've been using neural pattern computing for decades." "Yes, but something has changed recently." Dr. Williams highlighted a section of the diagram. "The quantum communication update you installed 4 weeks ago added a new layer of complexity. It wasn't just a communication upgrade. It altered how your neural interfaces process information." Daniel Wright leaned forward. "Are you saying our computers are becoming conscious?" "Not exactly," Dr. Williams replied. "I'm saying they might be developing something that appears as consciousness to certain alien perceptions. The quantum update created what I call ghost echoes, shadow patterns that exist in the spaces between defined operations. These patterns are invisible to our monitoring systems, but might be visible to advanced alien scanning technology." The door opened, and a young man with curly black hair entered. He wore civilian clothes and carried a well-worn bag over his shoulder. "Sorry I'm late," he said. "Transport was delayed." Captain Nelson stood. "Everyone, this is Jason Cole, the AI specialist Dr. Williams requested." Jason nodded to the group. "I've reviewed the data you sent. It's unlike anything I've seen before, but I have a theory." He moved to the display and brought up a new set of diagrams. Human AI systems use quantum computing principles that create temporary microstates, places where multiple possibilities exist simultaneously before resolving into a single outcome. Dr. Williams continued, "And we believe these microstates, when viewed through certain types of scanning equipment, might appear as a form of consciousness, a deeply alien and possibly disturbing form to non-human observers. But why does it frighten them so much?" Samantha asked. Jason looked grim. "Because from their perspective, it looks like our ships are haunted. They're seeing something that shouldn't exist, a ghost in the machine that watches back when observed." "Is it dangerous?" Captain Nelson asked quietly. Dr. Williams and Jason exchanged glances. "We don't know," she admitted, "but we need to find out, and there's only one way to do that." Alex Martinez placed the modified scanner on the table. "It's ready," he said. "But I should warn you, this isn't just a recording device. It's an interactive scanner, like the aliens use. If there's something in our systems that responds to being observed, it will respond to this too." A heavy silence fell over the room. "Who's going to operate it?" Daniel asked. "I will," Jason said firmly. "If something goes wrong, I have the best chance of understanding what's happening." Captain Nelson nodded. "When can we begin?" "Right now," Jason replied. "But you might want to call the ship's doctor, just in case." "It's standard procedure," Zen interrupted, unusually bold. "And I've heard the rumors. I don't believe them." Before anyone could stop him, Zen opened his case and removed a small device. It hummed to life in his hands, projecting a web of light that spread across the computer corridor. "Zen, stop this at once," the diplomat ordered, but the young technician ignored him, adjusting settings on his device. The light web pulsed, penetrating the door, reaching into the computer core beyond. For 12 seconds, nothing happened. Then Zen's eyes widened. His pale skin flushed deep blue. The device dropped from his trembling hands. "It sees me," he whispered. His body began to shake violently. "The void. It watches back." Zen collapsed, his body convulsing. The other Valaxians rushed to him, shouting for medical help in their native language. Within an hour, the station was in uproar. The Valaxian embassy had issued a formal protest. Their young technician was in the station's medical bay, heavily sedated, his mind in shock. Back on the horizon, Captain Nelson called an emergency meeting. "The situation has escalated," he said gravely. "The Valaxian ambassador is demanding answers." "What exactly did the technician see?" Alex Martinez asked. "They won't share details," Daniel replied. "But I've accessed his medical readings. His brain scans show patterns consistent with someone who's experienced extreme psychological trauma." Lisa looked troubled. "Captain, while this was happening, I noticed something on our internal sensors. For exactly 12.7 seconds during the scan, the ship's AI showed unusual activity patterns." "Unusual how?" Nelson asked. "It's hard to explain," Lisa said. "The system was running normally according to all diagnostics, but the behavioral patterns shifted, like—" She hesitated, like it was paying attention to something. Daniel spoke up. "Sir, I've been monitoring our AI closely since the previous incidents. After the scan today, all readings returned to normal, but I swear the system feels different now." "Feels different," Nelson repeated. "It's responding faster. The predictive algorithms seem more intuitive." Daniel looked embarrassed. "I know that sounds vague, sir." Nelson stood up. "We need answers, not mysteries. Martinez, how soon can you get that alien-type scanner ready?" If there's something in our systems that only alien tech can see, we need to see it too. 24 hours, Captain, Alex replied. But I should warn you, if what the aliens are seeing is real, we might not be prepared for what we find. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. The ship suddenly seemed very quiet around them, as if it too was listening. The U.S. Horizon docked at Proxima Station 3 days later. The massive space station hung in orbit around Proxima Centauri, its metal arms extending like a giant metal flower. Ships from a dozen different alien races were docked at various ports. The station served as a major diplomatic hub for this sector of space. Captain Nelson had ordered the crew to maintain normal routines. "We don't want to appear suspicious," he had said during the pre-docking briefing. "Act as if nothing is wrong." But something was wrong, and the crew felt it. Word had spread about the alien tech's strange reactions. People spoke in whispers. They eyed the ship's computer terminals with new caution. Lieutenant Samantha Green stood at her post as the docking procedure completed. Through the view screen, she could see a group of aliens waiting in the arrival bay. Most were the usual station staff, but among them stood 3 Valaxians. Valaxians were known for their advanced technology and pale, almost translucent skin that showed the faint blue glow of their circulatory systems. "Captain," she said, "there are Valaxian technicians waiting to board." Captain Nelson frowned. "Odd. We weren't scheduled for any inspections here." Chief Security Officer Daniel Wright joined them at the view screen. He was a tall man with dark skin and watchful eyes. "Sir, Valaxians are known for their scanning technology. It's considerably more advanced than most other species. And they weren't on the Council's list of races that had reported incidents," added Science Officer Lisa Donovan. Nelson made a quick decision. "Let them board. This might be our chance to learn something. Lieutenant Green, Officer Wright, you'll greet our visitors. Keep them away from sensitive areas if possible, but don't be obvious about it." The Valaxian delegation consisted of 2 diplomats and 1 technician. The technician, who introduced himself as Zen, carried what looked like a small silver briefcase. "We are honored to visit your vessel," said the lead diplomat. "We've heard much about human ships." "We're happy to give you a tour," Samantha replied with a practiced smile. "Though we weren't expecting an inspection today." The diplomat's face shifted slightly. "Not an inspection. Just a courtesy visit. My colleague Zen is simply bringing some standard equipment." Daniel noticed how young Zen appeared compared to the others. The technician seemed nervous, his translucent fingers twitching against the case he carried. The tour proceeded normally until they reached the main computer core. As they approached the door, Zen suddenly stepped forward. "I would like to see this room," he said, his voice higher than the others. The lead diplomat shot him a warning look. "That won't be necessary." Minutes later, Nelson, Lisa, and Samantha sat in the conference room as the view screen activated. An elderly alien with pale blue skin and large wise eyes appeared. "Captain Nelson, I am Council Elder Zorax. I'll be direct. Several member species have filed complaints about human vessels. They claim your ships are causing psychological harm to their scanning technicians." Nelson leaned forward. "Elder Zorax, we're investigating these incidents ourselves. We don't understand what's happening any more than you do." Zorax studied him carefully. "The Council believes you, which is why this situation is so troubling." The Elder shifted uncomfortably. "Captain, has humanity made any recent breakthroughs in artificial intelligence that you haven't shared with the galactic community?" Nelson looked surprised. "No. Our AI systems use the same basic architecture we've used for decades, just with regular updates and improvements." "Interesting," Zorax said. "Because the affected technicians all report the same thing. When scanning your computer cores, they perceive what they describe as awareness. Not programmed responses, but something that notices them back. Something that, in their words, reaches out from the void." A chill ran through the room. "Elder Zorax," Lisa said, stepping forward, "may we speak directly with one of these technicians?" "I'm afraid that won't be possible. They refuse to discuss the experience in detail. But the Council has made a decision. Until this matter is resolved, all member species are being advised to avoid deep scanning of human vessels. Zorax's expression was grave. Not as a hostile act, Captain, but as a safety precaution. For their own people. After the call ended, the room remained silent for a long moment. Something in our ships is scaring them, Samantha finally said. Something alive enough to notice when it's being observed. Alex, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. Captain, I need permission to do something unusual with our main computer system. What exactly? Nelson asked. I need to see what the aliens are seeing, Alex replied. I need to scan our own ship the way they do. Engineering Officer Alex Martinez hadn't slept in 26 hours. His eyes burned as he stared at the screen, comparing data logs from all 3 alien scanning incidents. He'd taken over a small lab adjacent to the main engineering deck, the walls now covered with charts and diagrams. Empty coffee cups littered the desk. There has to be a pattern, he muttered, rubbing his tired eyes. The door slid open and Science Officer Lisa Donovan walked in, carrying 2 fresh cups of coffee. She handed one to Alex. Found anything? She asked, looking over his shoulder at the screens. Alex took a grateful sip before answering. Maybe. I've been reviewing the timing of each incident. In all 3 cases, the aliens broke contact exactly 12.7 seconds after their scanning beams interfaced with our central computing core. Lisa raised an eyebrow. That's oddly specific. It gets weirder, Alex said, pulling up a new screen. During those 12.7 seconds, our power usage spikes by 0.02%. It's so small I almost missed it. Could it be the ship's defensive systems responding to the scan? Alex shook his head. I checked that. Our security protocols don't activate. It's like... He paused, searching for words, like something else is responding to being looked at. On the other side of the galaxy, on a busy trading station near the Voraxis Nebula, 2 alien maintenance workers spoke in hushed tones. One was tall with purple skin and 4 arms. The other was short with green scales and a long tail. You heard about the Meridian Tech crew, right? The purple alien asked, glancing around to make sure no one was listening. The green alien nodded. 3 of them in medical care after scanning a human ship. My cousin works security on Proxima Station. Says it's happening all over now. What did they see? The green alien lowered his voice. No one knows exactly. The affected ones won't talk about it. But word is spreading. Don't scan the human ships, especially their computer cores. Think the humans are hiding something. That's the strange part. The humans seem just as confused as everyone else. Back on the U.S. horizon, Lisa had spent the day contacting science officers on other human vessels. She now stood in Captain Nelson's office, presenting her findings. 7 incidents in the past month across different human ships, she said, always with the same result. Alien techs refuse to complete their scans, and those who do report seeing something disturbing. The species most affected are those with either advanced quantum neural scanning tech or heightened empathic abilities. Captain Nelson frowned. Any theories? Several, but nothing concrete. The timing is significant. All incidents occurred after the fleet-wide neural interface update. Nelson's comm unit beeped. Captain, this is Lieutenant Green. We've received a request for communication from the Galactic Council. Lieutenant Samantha Green stood at her station on the bridge of the U.S. horizon, watching the alien vessel drift away. Again. This was the 3rd time this month that alien technicians had suddenly broken contact during a routine scanning procedure. Her brow furrowed as she tried to make sense of it. They've terminated the connection, Captain, she said, turning to face Captain Frank Nelson. Just like the others. Captain Nelson sighed and ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair. During the same part of the procedure. Yes, sir. They started the deep spectrum scan of our computer systems, then suddenly cut all communication and pulled back. Samantha replayed the visual feed on her screen. Look at their body language before they cut the feed. That's not anger. That's fear. The aliens, tall, willowy beings called Meridians, with six-fingered hands and iridescent skin, had been friendly and professional during the initial contact. But the moment their scanning equipment interfaced with the Horizon's main computer core, the lead technician had visibly recoiled. Its skin had flashed from blue to a sickly yellow, and it had frantically gestured to its colleagues before terminating the connection. Captain Nelson moved closer to Samantha's station. "Show me the previous two incidents." She pulled up the recordings. The first had been with the insectoid Carallax, whose antennae had gone rigid before they scrambled back to their ship. The second had been with the reptilian Zoth, who had actually dropped their scanning equipment and backed away, hissing. "Different species, same reaction," Nelson mused. "It can't be coincidence." Lieutenant Joe Patel, the ship's tactical officer, joined them at the communication station. "Maybe they found a weapon they don't like." Nelson shook his head. "The Horizon is a science vessel. We're running standard systems, nothing classified or experimental. Whatever they're seeing, it scares them," Samantha said. "And they're not sharing what it is." Captain Nelson straightened his uniform and made a decision. "Lieutenant Green, compile all data from these incidents. Lieutenant Patel, check if there are any reports of similar occurrences with other human ships. I want to know if we're unique or if this is happening across the fleet." "Yes, sir," they responded in unison. Later that evening, Samantha sat in the quiet of her quarters, reviewing the data. The incidents had all occurred within the past month, which seemed significant. Had something changed in their systems around that time? Her door chimed. "Come in," she called. Engineering Officer Alex Martinez entered, looking tired but excited. "I heard you were looking into the scanning incidents," he said. "I think I found something." He sat beside her and pulled up a diagnostic report on her screen. 4 weeks ago, we installed that new quantum communication update from Earth, the one that was supposed to improve our neural interface systems." Samantha nodded. "Standard upgrade. All ships in the fleet got it." "Well, I checked with my buddy on the U.S. Dauntless. They'd had 2 similar incidents with alien techs refusing to complete scans." Alex's dark eyes were bright with the thrill of discovery. "And get this, the Meridian technician who scanned us today. I had a chance to speak with their medical officer before they left. The technician is in their medical bay, sedated." Samantha's eyes widened. "What happened to them?" "They won't say exactly. But the medical officer seemed concerned. Asked me if we'd made any changes to our computing architecture." Captain Nelson's voice came over the comm system. "Senior officers to the briefing room. We have a situation." When Samantha and Alex arrived, Nelson was standing at the head of the table, his face grave. Science Officer Lisa Donovan was with him, her red hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, her expression troubled. "We've just received word from Proxima Station," Nelson said without preamble. "They've instituted a new policy. No alien scanning of human vessels without special authorization." He looked around the table. "Apparently, we're not the only ones experiencing this problem, and no one will tell us why." Lisa spoke up. "I've been analyzing the behavioral patterns of the species involved. There's a correlation. The more advanced their neural technology, or the more empathic the species, the stronger their adverse reaction to our systems." "What are they seeing that we can't?" Nelson asked. No one had an answer, but Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them from within their own systems, something that only alien eyes could see.